Hey, I wanted to answer your question about finding your individual tolerance or healthy amount of carbohydrates. I first like to say that this is very individualized. Some people can tolerate a lot more carbohydrates before it spikes their blood sugar or has bad health effects when compared to another person. But if I'm speaking about somebody who already has evidence of metabolic syndrome or insulin resistance, meaning they already have high triglycerides, elevated insulin levels, prediabetes or elevated A1C, or frank type 2 diabetes, there's going to be some rules that I think can help people. My preference here is to use a continuous glucose monitor or a CGM, because that's a real-time measurement of what your blood sugar is doing after meals, after activity, and all other sorts of things can affect your blood sugar. If I have a CGM, it's not even really a calculus for me. It's just looking at what happens in your own body and then saying, hey, here's our goals for keeping your blood sugar under a certain amount. And then that could be a lower amount than even what we're telling people for good control of diabetes. But if I don't have a CGM and not able to individualize to that degree, I kind of look at this broadly for all people. But again, if people already have metabolic syndrome, I think they need to be a lot more careful of consuming carbohydrates. So the concept that I really like, which is relatively familiar with people, is net carbohydrates. So you may have been shopping and seen on the front of a tortilla or a wrap or a bread or a pasta, net carbohydrates. And sometimes it'll almost say 0 carbohydrates or super low carbohydrates. I don't really like the way that that's presented, but effectively what it is a simple equation of total carbohydrates and then minus grams of fiber. And so it is true that fiber content in your food will help kind of slow down digestion of those carbohydrates and cause a less significant spike in your blood sugar. Now, I wouldn't say you just didn't have a carbohydrate if you had some fiber with it, but it is helpful to always consume some fiber. So comparing the same food with and without fiber can be a huge difference in terms of its effect on our blood sugar. But I would even take it a step further with that net concept. I wrote up this little kind of cheat sheet here. And basically what we're looking at is your total grams of carbs minus several things. So we already mentioned fiber, and that's what's going to be on food labels. But I also know that protein can help blunt that blood sugar response. So aiming for at least 15 to 20 grams of protein in the meal that you're also consuming some carbohydrates can be helpful. If you're a bigger person, it may be up to 30 grams. And of course, there's other reasons to prioritize protein, but it does help blunt your blood sugar response a little bit. And then physical activity. So if you added all these things up, fiber, some protein, some physical activity, at least 5 to 10 minutes of brisk walking or moderately intense stuff can have a significant impact on your blood sugar, bringing it down more quickly or not letting it go up as high. So that's how I kind of think about net carbohydrates, that when people already have metabolic syndrome, I don't think they need to restrict their carbohydrates super, super low down to like a ketosis or less than 50 grams a day like most keto diets. But I do think aiming for a moderately low total amount, around 150 grams, give or take, and focusing on those net concepts, the fiber, the protein, and physical activity can really help reduce the amount of health effects of carbohydrates. So if you have any questions on that or anything else, just let me know.